Welcome back everybody to Can I Launch a Movement in 12 Weeks? We are officially at day 21 at the end of week 3. Can you believe it? I am quite astounded by how far we've come, what everything we have done. This week has been so hectic, but it's been amazing. Well, we've worked on the launch. We had our 3 days out of having a 8-year anniversary with my beautiful wife Karina, and also we moved homes. You will see I have a different background right now. Moved homes within Panama, so yesterday was full day packing out, today packing out. So it's been a full week, but so good. And this week is going to be one of the most exciting things I think for you guys as I'm sharing what I've done, especially during this week. So it is officially live. Say live, it's live, all right? It's live. The website, my personal positioning is actually live. And so we will drop the link down below. It's just armandkok.com. So you can go have a look at it, have a read at it. And it's really important for you to see what I've done and just the things I've decided on what I was actually going to put in there. So there are 4 things you will see that I've put on there. Number 1 is the current assignment. The things that I can be like, what is the value I can give people right now? Even though I'm still building, what can people read of me? How can I serve them right now? Right now, it is simple. It is, can I launch a movement in 12 weeks, right? So that series will go on there. People will be able to watch it. There's a little bit of engagement, and people will come onto my personal website and say, okay, I know what he's busy with. That's quite important, especially for personal positioning and how you build your thing. The second thing is this just storytelling. So I told 2 stories, which is quite important. The first one is the storytelling of Ocean, how it came to be and why it is important to me, right? Like what is Ocean? And I had great thought about this, like how am I actually going to tell the story? Because you can tell a story in a million different ways. I had a lot of thought this week about which road am I actually going to take? What do I want to communicate? For instance, for me personally, Ocean is an extremely spiritual experience, right? It was a dream, it was prophetic, it was encounter with God, it was extremely prophetic. I don't necessarily need to tell that story in that way. It all depends on my audience and how I can relate with them. So I had a lot of thought in what I write down, the copy I'm writing, what do I really want to communicate? Because be too spiritual and it like pushes people away. And people are like, that guy is a great guy. I'm not going to follow his movement. He's so weird. But then I was considering maybe taking the route that maybe is speaking more practical and generic. And I just felt the more generic I went, the more it dumbed down the actual vision of what God gave me. So I was like, you know what? My audience, I want them to understand that my process was extremely spiritual. It is the core foundation of who I am as a person, and it's also core foundation of what Ocean will become, right? Like the supernatural. I really believe that when we build movements, we don't just always build it from here, right? We can receive supernatural wisdom and build something in the earth. There's a receiving end of something that's supernatural that can really help us build, right? Like that is the edge we have as Christians. So I just decided I'm not going to shy away from that. You can read it and see the supernatural and spiritual side of actually just that story. I'm just going to be true to that story. And then the second storytelling is just my personal story with myself, with Karina, and the last decade of everything I've done for the last 10 years. Really going deep, the same, telling the story as it is, short, summed up, but giving people context of who I am, right? And again, I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again. It's important because before people buy into the movement, they will buy into the movement maker. And I want people to connect, not just with the movement and the vision, I want them to connect with me, right? And so how are they going to connect with me is when they read my story. They understand where I'm coming from. It gives them context. They get to know me, like me, or actually dislike me, right? And they get to trust me or not trust me. So my personal story puts myself in a position where in a short few sentences, people can go and know, you know what, I'm in alignment with this guy or I'm not. And either way is a win, right? Like you want people that's aligned with you. If people are like, this is not for me, you're not for me, great win, right? Because you're not going to waste your time with people that is not in alignment with the movement you're building. You want people in full alignment. So that's the second story. And then the fourth thing I put on my website was Substack. Leadership Reformation letters that I'm going to be able to write. That letters, that Substack pieces of content I'm going to start putting out there is going to form a book that I'm going to write eventually. So all of those stuff is just positioned so that people, when they get onto my website, I can actually take your email and I can give you in exchange for something. Right now, there's not much going on my Substack because I've just been building this last few weeks, but that's about to change, right? So I have the end in mind. I see where I'm going, because at the end of 12 weeks, I know the amount of pieces I want on there that's going to be crucial and foundational for what I'm about to build, and the whole movement will actually come down to those leadership reformation letters. So very power move, even though I don't have immediate hordes of stuff to offer to people, but there's an invitation and there's an exchange that can actually happen. So great winning, guys. The website's live, armandkorp.com. You can go read that. And I'll just finish off by saying this again. I mentioned it last week, is that many people say, forget about your website. Don't worry about your website. Just sell the product. Just sell the product. Just go do that, right? But I've seen, and we've discussed, me and my wife discussed this, like, this 12 weeks, how are we going to do it? And we just really feel it's powerful to do your website first. Your personal website. You have your own positioning done first. Number one, it gives you confidence. Number two, it gives you something to show to people when you connect with them. And it keeps you accountable to your own vision. It's out there. It's out there in the world. You can't backtrack now. You now need to back up with actions what you put out publicly, right? You need to show that you are who you say you are. And all those small stuff is actually a lot of force and wind behind you. I can't skip this week's video. Why? Because I publicly said I'm building a movement in 12 weeks. I just moved houses. I just had this whole week was not actually supposed to be a week where I put out content, but I've put it out publicly, right? So there's a level of real accountability that I feel is so powerful. So that's why we build from the beginning, put your personal website out there. And which is a power move, right? Many other people say scrap that, because you get people that get stuck on that for months. What color should I do? What's the font I should do? So we said we're going to build it, but we're not going to be nitty gritty. That website may change in its look, right? Stuff can change, stuff can happen, but speed and execution is more important than just getting on the nitty gritties, right? Very important to know. So that was great. I'm going to go on and chat a little bit about the layout that I've actually worked on this week. So the layout I've been working on is the core foundational phase of what Ocean will become, which is the discovery phase. Power movements actually are built on what we call small rite of passages. Like, there has to be an exchange. When people become part, they have to ask the question, how can I become part of your movement, right? What should I practically do? There's a rite of passage and there's an exchange that needs to happen. Now, many movements have different ways. What I'm about to build is really the discovery phase. The discovery phase is going to be the main core thing that every single person that comes into Ocean has to go through to understand, number one, who they are, understand the culture, understand what we're building. And so that's going to become the number one foundational thing that this whole movement will be built on. So it's very important, and I need to take my time on this. There's a urgency, but there's also not a rush, right? Like, so I need to go deep with this. The other offers can almost say, or can come, right? The most important thing I need to execute is doing this correctly and giving people the right language. So this rite of passage, this exchange will give people the same language, the same identity, and the same culture. That's what you want. When you build a movement, you want people to be in alignment with the language, right? With the community and what you're building, the vision you're building. And so they need to speak the same language. People will be like, oh, I am actually part of this. Now, what it actually looked like, and the layout I've planned out, was going back to the persona. Going back to the Ocean persona. What is that person's biggest fear? What is their biggest desire? What is their biggest dream? What are their biggest failures? What do they think about late at night when nobody is looking? Like, what's going on in their inner world, right? And what can I provide of solution to them that will move the needle for them? What are the things I struggled with that if I can go back 5 years ago and teach myself 5 years ago one thing, 1 or 2, 3 things that will move the needle, what will that thing be? And that's a great question for you as you build your movement. And the question is, how can I help myself from 5 years ago? Right? Think about your life. Think about where you were at. Think about all the stuff you went through. There's a lot that happened in the last 5 years. If you can teach yourself 3 core things that will move the needle, what would that be? Because what took you 5 years, if you knew what you knew then, if you knew then what you know now, excuse me, that time can be way shorter, right? Now, some things, life happens, you can't always pressure cook that, you can't always make it faster. But there's many things that I know for what I know. If those things were in place, what took me 5 years will take me 6 months, right? And that's the power. That's what you're sitting on. That's the value that I'm sitting on. So I'm building right now is thinking of an ocean, and here's the layout. Here's the main things I've come up. It's like, number one, if I can look at myself 5 years ago, I would really dive deep straight into what is my identity. I've struggled because I've never been in full alignment with my identity, right? So identity alignment. What does identity alignment look like for an ocean? 110% in alignment. He's not trying to be this or this. No, he's made up his mind. I'm an ocean. I am the way I am. I'll always dream big. I'll always want to influence nations. I'm always going to sit stuck in other people's movements and feel uncomfortable. Why? Because I'm an ocean. So you need to come into full alignment with that identity and embrace who you are instead of keep on wrestling around that same mountain again and again and again and again, right? And actually sit in that frustration. So to break that, it's like, okay, I'm actually making peace with the fact that I am who I am, and that's who God made me to be. And instead of wasting my time going around that mountain, instead of starting dreaming with God into it, and so instead of leaning away, start dreaming into it, and say, okay, God, well, what does it look like for me, right? So identity alignment is something, the number one thing. The second one is going to be mission alignment. Okay, now that I've made up peace with who I am, what is my mission, right? And there's something important to understand, because it's your life purpose that you need to figure out. Then there is, what is your calling that fits into your life purpose, right? And then there's your current assignment in your calling. Something that I'm really going to go deep on, because that three things messed me up. I don't know if it's my purpose or my calling or my assignment, or which one should I take next. Because I'm a big dreamer, and I see the big vision, right? But then I get stuck because I don't know what to do tomorrow morning when I wake up, right? Because I don't know what my current assignment is, the one step that will take me closer towards the big dream. So I'll always talk about the big dream, but because I don't understand the assignment that fits into the calling, I get confused, and a year go by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by, and you're like, what the heck is going on with my life, right? So those are crucial stuff that I feel like, man, if I can just help an ocean, boom, they'll be going from 0 to 100 very quickly. And then thirdly is communication alignment. Now that I'm aligned with my identity, I'm aligned with my calling and my current assignment, I know what I do next week or next day. How do I actually position myself? How do I communicate that, right? Like, that's what I just did last week, is actually get up a website, communicate. Even if I don't have much to show, here's my story, this is who I am, this is my vision, so that when I actually get in touch with people, this gives them the opportunity to partner with me, this gives me the opportunity to partner with them, it gives me confidence, boldness, and accountability to continue moving into the right direction. So how do I communicate? How do I pitch to people, this is who I am, right? So that's the three core things that I felt like, man, if I had that 5 years ago, it would change my life. And I didn't do it, right? But now that I'm here, I can create a product, I can create a rite of passage for people, so that everybody that comes into Ocean are in the discovery phase. They need to discover who they are. They need to discover what their mission is. I don't care what the guy next to you are building. What are you supposed to build? That's the whole message of Ocean, right? I don't care about the pastor and that guy and this leader. I'm asking the question, what's on your heart and what's you're supposed to build? Are you in alignment with your identity? Are you in alignment with your assignment and your calling? Are you actually positioned to communicate that properly, right? So that's the core thing of what I have just laid out. And I'm really excited because there's two things that's going to be on top of that. Number one is teaching people how to receive. So a small bonus reset program that's going to teach people how to receive. Because as I said, my whole journey was extremely spiritual, and I need to be open to receive wisdom from God, that can give me leverage and take me far, other than just trying to figure it out myself. I believe and the culture and the DNA that I want to put into the discovery phase of Ocean is people getting to hear for the Father's voice, maybe for the first time, maybe they're so used to it. I want you to get dreams and visions. I want you to sit with God and get to know the Father. It's way more about our process in our relationship with the Father in partnership with each other than just Him telling me what to do and I should go and do it. I feel like then we miss the whole point. I feel like that's not the DNA that I want Oceans to become. I want Oceans to be known as, man, those guys move with the Holy Spirit. The Bible says keep in step with the Holy Spirit. They are partnered with God. They are not just servants. they are friends with God. They hear His voice and they do with Him. They build with Him, right? So that reset bonus is so important because that's the crucial thing that changed everything for me. And I'm going to add that in. And then lastly, a bonus, it's going to be pretty cool, is once people are in that and going through that process and they're like, man, I just really need to talk to a person. You know, there will be an option for people to book one-on-one sessions and have a prophetic whiteboard session where we maybe take your prophetic words of your life and we speak into them or help you get clarity on your actual current assignment, your positioning, your identity. Or maybe you've never received something like ever before. I'm like, okay, great, well, this is you. I connect with some awesome people I know. They're going to get you some awesome prophetic words. We're going to start speaking into your life, right? And there's going to be a one-on-one, little bit of a one-on-one journey that's going to be available for people. Now, that might not be for everybody, but it might be for some of you that's really desperate and walking a road with a person. So that's going to be awesome. The layout is done, and I've planned it to be a course and a workbook, so that I don't pressure people to, oh, you need to rush this thing, right? I want people to watch the video, have the workbook, and let time go by and really figure out who they are, what's their current mission, and how do they communicate it. So a course, self-paced course, and a workbook, and the one-on-one opportunities that follows then with the whiteboard sessions. So that was that for this week. We are going now next up into the fourth week, and next up is going to be, we're going to start with the movement positioning and the copywriting and the messaging for the website of the actual movement, which is Ocean, right? So we're going to start with that, planning out what that should look like, so that when people not just meet me, but I'm like, hey, look at the movement, that will also be able to communicate clearly. So that's going to be fun. A lot of thinking that I need to put in on what do I really want to communicate for where we're at right now as a movement. And then number 2 is going to be the writing and the scripting for these sessions, right? So these few sessions that I'm going to record as the discovery phase needs proper writing, it needs scripting, it needs to be planned out like really in detail, so that when we record them it really flows and we don't struggle with that. And then not just the writing and the scripting, but then also the workbook design, right? We're going to start on the workbook design. So such a big week lying ahead of me with the website, with the writing and scripting of the actual course, and then the design of the workbook. That's next up. I'm really excited to build this thing, and I can't wait for you to see that, hey, this whole thing is actually done in the next few weeks. And if you like this, if you want to build your own movement, if this has been of value to you, like and subscribe. And I can't wait to invite you into this movement that's going to change your life, set you up, empower you, and see what God has placed in your life and what you are called to build. Well done, Oceans. Let's go.